Today's podcast is brought to you by alleyrepair.com. Don't leave your skee-ball machines lying around collecting dust in the basement. Let alleyrepair.com bring those machines back to life. High-quality workmanship for your skee-ball playing needs. Contact alleyrepair.com today. Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of the Fro Life Wrestling Podcast. In this episode we're going to discuss a hodgepodge of wrestling tidbits and offer some predictions, possibly at the end for the Royal Rumble, and some of the news that we've been seeing out there in various sites, with 1 week to go before the big event that'll undoubtedly fuel the WrestleMania speculation. But tonight I want to get started with the announcement of a highly anticipated match between the Broken Hardyz and the Young Bucks that it looks like it's going to take place. Ring of Honor has a card coming up called the Super Card of Honor on April 1st. This should be a Booker's blessing and a curse all at the same time. You know, you got two of the world's most over tag teams battling in an interpromotional style, storyline that it virtually never happens in today's wrestling landscape. This isn't the territorial days where people could get together from rival promotions and put together big events the way they used to. There's no AWA Super Clash anymore. There's none of those types of opportunities. So, if I was booking this match and I were Ring of Honor, I would have the Bucks drop the belts to the Hardys under the agreement that the Hardys would put the Bucks over in a rematch shortly after. I know a lot of people think that's crazy, but it provides an opportunity, a much needed boost in the credibility of both brands, Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling. And it would make tag team wrestling a main event draw in America for the first time since the days of the Road Warriors versus Tully and Arn. I mean, there is so much that these two teams can do with each other. The huge following that the Bucks have both in Ring of Honor and in Japan. The huge focus that's been on the broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero's topic all year. This is an opportunity. That being said, though, the other thing people have to consider about this match being booked now for April 1st is the potential for the Hardys to return to WWE seems to be dwindling. It's like every day they seem to be getting closer and closer to just re-upping with TNA Wrestling as far as the Hardys go. If the TNA Wrestling, if Impact and Anthem are willing to give the Hardys full creative control to allow them to book their own outside bookings, which is priceless right now, the way things have been going and the way some wrestlers have been showing up on other company shows and things like that, and really drawing in this huge independent crowd, that's something WWE is just never going to be open to. And if that's something that is appealing to the Hardys, which that's a huge thing for Matt Hardy especially, I just can't see them leaving and going back to WWE. I can't see that happening. On the topic of WWE, there's some great news that Chris Jericho has indeed signed a new contract with the company. He had this whole personal reflection thing on his 2016 run that's, in his words, was one of the best of his career. It's something fans, we felt like this was going on the whole year. We always had a lot of confidence in Chris Jericho. He's always a solid draw, but he really opened up this week and explained what the original plans were, that he was supposed to be going head-to-head with Dean Ambrose, and then the AJ Styles thing came along, and it just changed the whole trajectory of what he was supposed to do. And it's actually a good thing. This whole run with Kevin Owens has been priceless. It's very revolutionary for somebody to take a character that was so well established for a good 20-some years, the way Jericho was, and almost completely reinvent himself. And now that he's done that, he's done some of his best work that people have seen in forever. And it's really a shame. He's one of those people, that he can only stay in the business for so long. But as the way things are going right now, it's going to be really hard to accept that Chris Jericho's wrestling days have to be getting close to the end. Despite how great he's doing. He's getting up there in age, late 40s. It can't go on forever. But he's one of those people you really wish that he could be one of those immortals. And you gotta hope, you pray, that WWE makes a decision sooner than later to make sure that he gets into the Hall of Fame. Because I can't think of anybody who is more deserving than Chris Jericho after everything he's done between house show appearances without having to be on television in 2015, the run he had this year, and every time he's come back to WWE, the contributions he's made, they've just been amazing. Crossing over into other mass media, Dancing with the Stars, doing the Fozzy thing, all these things, they make him a very unique personality, and one that has really been essential to the evolution of wrestling from that Attitude Era to what we have today. So great stuff from Chris Jericho this week, and hopefully we'll hear a lot more of that before he wraps up his current run with the company. I have to commit some of the time today to the revelation that Kenny Omega has given the impression that he would be open to a WWE deal provided that they had something great for him to do, something interesting for him to do. I can't see WWE messing up Kenny Omega's push. I know that sounds strange because they've screwed up quite a few pushes in the past, but after the huge return on their AJ Styles investment, and even the reactions they got for Gallows and Anderson and Shinsuke Nakamura, people coming from New Japan, that you would think someone like Vince McMahon would underestimate how popular these people would be, because to him, New Japan is so far away, not realizing that the real firm base of wrestling fans, they're very smart. We're smart marks. We know what's going on around the world, that the minute those guys hit the American soil and touch down in the WWE ring, we pop for that. Right now, WWE should be worshiping New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access TV. It has become a literal breeding ground for future talent, and it's particularly interesting to me that when asking WWE talent who would make for a great Rumble surprise entrant, someone like Seth Rollins would suggest Kenny Omega. WWE even removed his comments from the video package as it was his honest answer, but it generates some buzz, especially after Omega claims to be a free agent now, something that was highly disputed earlier in the week. Everybody thought his contract was up the 31st. Now he claims it's up much sooner than that. So really curious to keep an eye on that. And hopefully we'll get some clarity on what's going on with that in the near future. I want to give a quick shout out to, I'd be an idiot if I didn't say this, to Kevin Owens for saying what was on everybody's mind in a backstage segment in reference to Roman Reigns, where he made a joke about nobody being able to defeat Roman Reigns. It's so true. You know, Vince has shoved this guy down our throats, and I said so on the last podcast that I actually don't have a problem with Roman Reigns at all. I think he's a great talent, but when a guy's not getting over, he's not getting over, and to see someone like Kevin Owens in the back make a joke about it, and from what everybody understands, so for those who don't know, Roman Reigns was sitting right next to this while this was going on. Kevin Owens making fun of the fact that no one's been able to be put over Roman Reigns. I love that because it shows the funny nature, and it's insightful for those of us who wonder what really goes on behind the curtain. So it was cool to see that interaction. On more topics of WWE, I found that the Shawn Michaels comments this week were very exciting, and I feel like they really give us a glimpse into his core, who he really is. He said for years now, for so long, that he wants to stay retired, but this week he admitted that even his wife would have been open to him coming back for the big payday. He commented on his preparation last year for WrestleMania. He was out there for only a couple minutes, and it really gave you a glimpse into how Shawn prepares for his segments and why, if he tried to return to the ring, it would be such an emotional challenge for him. He's a perfectionist, and he wouldn't be able to commit to the, how everybody always says that proverbial one more match chant. It would have to be something he really got behind. It couldn't be one more match. It would require more than that one-off, which at his age, he's not able or willing to commit to. I have to admit, I was a bit surprised to learn that he trained for 6 weeks for that brief moment last year at Mania. And, it only made me love that work ethic that he has that much more. I really have always appreciated Shawn Michaels, but that just gives me so much more respect for him. I appreciated that he voiced his respect for AJ Styles. All the rumors that were out there earlier this year about a potential match between the two of them at the Royal Rumble, I was totally shocked to hear how he felt about that, how he really pushed that AJ's a brilliant talent who knows how to market himself and understands that it's it's about more than just being in the ring. And I was really interested to hear what he had to say about wanting to face Samoa Joe over AJ. But in a way, it was so much more organic to hear him put over a talent that obviously both he and a lot of fans feel like has been overlooked for years. So, despite everything else and him being very clear he's not coming back, it was interesting to hear that little tidbit about Samoa Joe. And that's another match probably a lot of people have never really thought about, Samoa Joe and Shawn Michaels. But to hear it come from him, that's pretty impressive. Despite him reassuring us he's not going to enter the Royal Rumble, the word going around the wrestling world right now is that Kurt Angle may be headed for the 30-man elimination match, which, if you ask me, is a fantastic idea when you're trying to put together a show of this magnitude in the Alamo Dome for the first time in several years. And it could only be a good thing for the fans themselves to see yet another just timeless wrestler go in and make a huge impact at one of the biggest shows of the year. I want to move on and look at some of the insanity that's surrounding the situation with the WWE and the UK tournament competitors. Now WWE's blocking some of the talents. Trent Seven, Pete Dunne, Mark Andrews. It's not that they're blocking them from taking bookings, but back in December they said that the talents that they were signing for the tournament were still going to be free to work independent shows, and they are. But the part that they didn't really talk about is if those shows were going to put a show out on one of those, a competing streaming service or something of that nature, that's an issue. It's made it so that the talents have to be moved to dark matches, or even some promotions cutting them from shows altogether, because they want to be able to have control over what they book these guys with. And this could be a really bad thing, really, in the long run. You heard all these people chanting during the broadcast of the UK title tournament how great the British fan base was, and it's thanks to them that we have this opportunity. But if you're going to block some of the most popular wrestlers in that region from being able to appear all over their country, how are you supposed to sustain that popularity? You're going to put second-grade wrestlers out to the British scene. These talented guys won't get enough camera time to develop their characters and potentially someday come to WWE. And, you know, WWE does seem to be closing in on deals with other companies over there, like Progress and ICW and OTT, to show their content on WWE Network. Maybe that'll be how we get to see these guys, but it's really interesting to see how shady it kind of is, the way WWE made it sound like these guys are going to be able to book themselves elsewhere, and now all of a sudden they're pulling them from shows. Speaking of alternative shows, New Japan Pro Wrestling and CMLL in Mexico just finished up their Fantastica Mania show. It saw Japanese and Lucha stars combine for some high-flying and fast-paced action. I hope everyone can find a method of some sort to take in some of these matches, as the Japanese style is really, it's in direct conflict with the more comical Mexican style, the lucha style, and typically it makes the matches really entertaining. I do want to give a specific shout out of congratulations to IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Hiromu Takahashi, who's a killer talent, and CMLL World Lightweight Champion Dragon Lee, because at the closing of Fantastica Mania, these two had an altercation that is clearly going to generate some intrigue for some kind of future champion versus champion action, and it should be just that kind of match. They're high quality. It's something I can't wait to see. So I really love this global expansion effort by New Japan, because it's obvious they're taking it very seriously, that they look at themselves in the United States market, in the Mexican market, and other markets as being viable contenders for a big chunk of the TV audience. So congratulations to New Japan and CMLL. It's the first important thing I've seen CMLL do in years. One final tidbit: we want to wish good luck to Linda McMahon, who's going to face the music on Tuesday to see herself, see if she can go through the Senate confirmation hearings. She's up to lead the Small Business Administration. We want to wish her all the luck in the world after today's inauguration of President Trump. I actually said that. I think that's the first time I've actually said that. So good luck, Linda McMahon. That's all the time we have for this episode, but check out back with us the next time. We're going to cover all the happenings in the world of wrestling and keep you posted on the behind-the-scenes info. Special thanks go out to bensound.com and purpleplanet.com for producing all of our music and sound effects used throughout today's show. Today's podcast was sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bringing a new friend to family game night is easy with Sketchy People. Showcase your artistic side in this new game from Beazle Games and bring some fun and excitement back to family game night. Go to www.thegamecrafter.com/sketchypeople to pick up your copy today. To the U.S. News and World Report Best Colleges 2017, available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble now. To AlleyRepair.com. Contact Alley Repair today for servicing all of your classic skee-ball, pinball, and arcade needs. And to A&B Education of Lansdale, bringing intercultural education to talented students from around the world. We want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we encourage you to go to our website at www.frolifeplanning.com to learn more about what Mr. Fro can do for you. Remember, Fro Life Educational Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Mr. Fro, and I want to thank you for taking a few moments with us today, and we look forward to discussing more current events and rumors on our next show. So long, everybody.